digital collectibles and all of that other stuff, which I feel like is the next wave and where the industry is going and everything. And I just want everybody to kind of get their head around it and also, you know, cover the topic of extracting value for your art and everything. And I figure who else better to talk to than somebody like him, who is very much aware of that whole space and knowledgeable of that whole space. He has his own website where he sells his NFTs and everything called Danky.art that you guys could check out. And, you know, if you're into buying art, you know, you could buy some from him. And if you just want to do it for research purposes, you can check him out there too. So I'm going to shut up and we're going to dive into this conversation with the brother, man. And, you know, get to seeing what he know, man, and let him get to sharing his knowledge, man. So, what's good, brother?
What's good, bro? Peace, man. It's a pleasure to be here. How you doing?
I'm good, man. So yeah, so we got this whole space, man. We got the NFT space, man. We got the cryptocurrency space, man. You know, and I know I just considered, like, you got tokenization, and I always looked at tokenization as like the brand, where it's like when somebody like an artist tokenizes, like they tokenize themselves, and almost looked at NFTs as like that was something different. And as you explained to me prior to us jumping on live or in the previous interview or whatever, you say, hey, you know, it's all tokenization. So what is an NFT? Like break that down for me in its simplest terms. What is an NFT? And then we can get to like brand tokenization versus NFTs and stuff.
Okay, cool. All right. So, in the simplest form, an NFT is basically a digital representation of an item, right? NFT is an acronym. It stands for non-fungible token, right? So, an NFT can represent essentially anything that's a scarce item. So, your hat, as an example, right, could be represented as an NFT on a blockchain, right? It's a scarce item. So, you can use any form of media to be represented as an NFT. Right? You can turn an artwork into an NFT, a song, a video, an essay. All of these different forms of media can be tokenized as what's called an NFT. And in doing such, it's now easily tradable on a blockchain globally, 24/7. You know, there's an international marketplace for you to now tokenize your creativity and potentially sell your creativity as a digital collectible, right? An NFT. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, man, that made perfect sense. So, I mean, you have people who are tokenizing themselves, right? Where they doing like artist tokenization. And what is like the difference between like you creating a token for yourself, which you have, right? Which is the Hue coin, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between you creating a token for yourself versus you creating an NFT?
Okay. All right. Good question. So there is a distinction, right? So again, NFT stands for non-fungible token, right? There's what's also known as a fungible token, right? So it's non-fungible and fungible. Basically, what fungible means is it's like the dollars that people have in their wallets or used to have in their wallets, right? A fungible token is like Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum. Fungible basically means one of a kind. It can be exchanged for each other. So each dollar is the same. No matter which dollar you have, it's fungible, as in they can be exchanged for each dollar. It's the same thing, right? Non-fungible means it's unique, right? There's something unique about it. So it's not the same as any other. Okay. So when people are creating their own social tokens or personal tokens or community tokens, these are fungible tokens like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum or XRP, where essentially they can be used as a currency, right? Non-fungible tokens, NFTs, are more so media oriented, where it's a scarce sort of limited collectible art, music, video, etc. So that's kind of the distinction, but it's all tokenization.
Bet, man. So I mean, because, and we talked about this on Twitter, the issue that's in music and art period, man, is just like over the years there's been like a devaluing of art to a great extent, where everything becoming digital and scarcity becoming a problem, right? Like you that's something you mentioned before too. But it's like, I know my wife, who's a photographer, she got out the game when everything kind of switched to digital, because it was like, well, they're minimizing everybody. Everybody has a cell phone. Cell phone got a camera. Everybody thinks there's a photographer. People don't know how to use dark rooms. I'm out the game, right? But it's like, that's what kind of happened in music too, where you almost got like a zero profit condition. Everybody can install software on a computer, create music out the wazoo, you know, where you got a digital distributor, they say unlimited distribution. You got artists putting out 100, 300 songs like every 2 months, you know. Like, I had one guy hit me up. He's like, hey, which digital distributor should I use? I'm like, hey, here's the best. He's like, that's too expensive. They charge you per release. You know how much it's going to cost me to release 100 songs? And I'm like, 100 songs? You know? But this is how people are moving out here. But they're doing it like that because of the fact that the music doesn't carry like a value, it's not value for the individual song or like the individual sale. So it's pretty much a quantity based thing, where it's like Spotify is paying you 3,000ths of a cent per stream, so you need this massive amount of streams to make any kind of profit. Now, with the NFTs and this whole new landscape, that creates an opportunity for artists to extract greater value from one sale, let alone multiple sales. But the challenge is breaking into that space. So I ask you, how can artists break into that space? Is it something that's exclusive to people in the crypto space, where you got to have crypto friends and be involved in that whole thing? Or can you just go and create an NFT somewhere, get it up, and I don't know. Like, I don't know how it works. How does an artist get involved?
Yep. So that's another good question. There are a couple ways that an artist can get involved in the NFT space, right? So there are different marketplaces. Some of these marketplaces are curated in the sense that you'll have to apply. So there's an application process, and you would have to be approved to be on some of these particular marketplaces. Couple examples: Super Rare, Maker's Place, Nifty Gateway. These are some of the bigger, well-known marketplaces, but you have to apply. So if you're an artist who has a portfolio, you have a following, you've been doing this for a while, and you know you've been doing it in traditional Web 2 world, right? Web 2 being Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social media, right? Mm-hmm. You have a following, you have a portfolio, you can apply, and hopefully you'll be accepted. And then there's just the process of basically uploading your artwork, setting a price, giving it a name, a description, and basically publishing it to the marketplace, right? Then there's another route where you don't necessarily have to apply. It's not a curated sort of marketplace. These platforms include like OpenSea or Rarible, where people can just go on there and they can get started immediately. It's permissionless, right? So if you have some sort of media, be it, again, a video or a song or artwork, you could upload it on OpenSea or Rarible, mint it on the blockchain as an NFT, and you're off and running, essentially. I will say, though, a caveat to all of this is that currently this is all being built on the Ethereum blockchain for the most part. The majority of it is on Ethereum. And right now there's a lot of headaches around the gas costs on Ethereum. So what gas costs means is every time you do a transaction on Ethereum, you have to pay a fee. And because what we've been seeing lately with Bitcoin just hitting $50,000 and the whole market is kind of in a bull market and moving up, people are excited and the price of Ethereum is rising. So there's more people, more eyeballs, more congestion, more transactions on the network, right? Which is raising the gas price or the cost to transact, right? So to create an NFT, you have to actually pay this transaction fee. And right now it's super high and ridiculous to even tokenize and create an NFT, which is a headache, and hopefully will be solved pretty soon on Ethereum anyway.
Yeah, man. So I mean, yeah, that's the other side of the game, you know? So it's like, even and getting involved with it, there's still that aspect of the production of it, you know, the how the soup is made effectively, you know. So it's like, who eats that cost? Is it on the artist to pay the gas fees to produce an NFT, or is it on the platform? Do all platforms or do some platforms make the artist pay to create the NFT and others don't? You know, is it like a uniform type of thing? Like how does that swing?
Yeah, so the way it's been up until now essentially is the cost is a burden to the creator, right? So to transact and to create your NFT on the blockchain, the creator would have to pay this gas fee, this transaction fee. Um, so you eat that cost almost as production, right? Like if you were to create an artwork, right, in the material world, in the physical world, you would need canvas, you would need paint, you would need brushes, you would need material. Like these are all costs. So people kind of liken the gas fee to the cost of just producing, right? It's just an expense you have to pay. Now, there's OpenSea who've taken a new sort of approach where they're allowing creators to upload and create their NFT, but they don't actually have to pay the gas fee up front. I'm not sure how they technically solve for this, but on OpenSea, there is a way where you don't have to pay for the gas up front. But on the back end, the person who buys and collects the NFT, I think they're the ones that are going to eat that cost because somebody has to pay for it essentially.
So there's a way for them to like, is it a way for them to like chop it up, you know, and spread it out across the transactions where it's minimized? Or is it like when, or yeah, I don't know. I don't
So
know.
no, it's just a design flaw, I believe, in Ethereum. Ethereum is based on something called proof of work technology. It's the same proof of work technology Bitcoin is based on, which is why Bitcoin is also expensive to transact in. There are other blockchains that are not proof of work that are actually better for this sort of thing. One example is the Flow blockchain, who is focused completely on NFTs. They're the people behind CryptoKitties, who actually started this whole NFT wave back in 2017. They're also the team that's helping with NBA Top Shot. Okay, that's on the Flow blockchain. The UFC is coming to the Flow blockchain. So I believe Flow is really with this mainstream push, and it's a lot easier. There's no fees, no transaction costs, and things like that in comparison to Ethereum. So you just have to kind of weigh your options.
But I mean, even with the headaches and all of that, with the challenges, because I mean, I believe that they're gonna sort that out, and you know, something like OpenSea at least provides an opportunity for artists to get in the game without having buku bucks in Ethereum to to get started. You know, so I mean, there's opportunities there, and thank you for mentioning a platform like that. You know, where artists can at least dip a toe in, right? Dip a toe in and start the process and everything, man. You know, now in the way of promoting and getting the word out and stuff, like how far do you think the penetration has gone with crypto and with NFTs and everything, and in the way of the lingo that's being used to promote it? Because I know there's discussion around that too. Like, is it smart to call it an NFT, or is it better to call it a digital collectible? Like, what's more effective? Like, do you lose anything if you come out and call it a digital collectible versus an NFT, where maybe the crypto people don't pick up on it because they're like, well, that's not what I know it to be. So, and then the non-crypto people don't understand what the hell an NFT is. So even though you call it a digital collectible, they come in and they don't understand what the value of it is and how to trade it and all that other stuff. So they don't buy it either. And then you're just in no man's land. So it's like, what do you think is the better way to go?
Um, that's an interesting question. Uh, I like both, to be honest. I mean, NFT might seem technical to people, but it just is what it is. It's like I didn't know what an MP3 was until I knew what an MP3 was. I didn't know what a PDF was until I knew what a PDF was. Right? These are files essentially. What an NFT is, it's a new form of distribution for a digital collectible. So if you want to call it an NFT or a digital collectible, to me, maybe because I've been in the space for so long, I equate the two as the same. I'm a little more technical. I want to know what blockchain it was created on, like what type, because there are different types of NFT tokens, and that's a little more technical. But digital collectible works perfectly fine in my opinion. I think that's more of a palatable sort of people can easily understand that concept versus NFT, but I think they should still know what NFT means.
Yeah, man. So I mean, with all of this space and all of this new development with NFTs and with tokenization and everything like that, man, and everybody moving into that space or at least being aware of that space, man. I mean, let's get into the whole concept of speculation trading because you put me up on the site. You sent me a link to a site that I checked out that I didn't even know existed because I just thought, hey, this is just all for people to invest in and basically glorified fan clubs. That's what I thought of the artist tokens as, where basically, like you say, an artist token, you create a token for yourself. You say, hey, I am Payusnomind. I got the Payusnomind coin. You buy the Payusnomind token. Anytime you buy something for the Payusnomind store, I'll give you 500 tokens every time you buy something. Hey, come to a Payusnomind show, I give you 200 tokens, right? And with those tokens, you can get access to exclusive experiences and stuff like that, where it's like, this is the purpose of buying a token is to basically gain access to me, gain exclusive perks. And that is like basically some fan type shit, So it's like, hey, you're a fan, you want access, hey, get this. But that site you sent me, that makes it more about speculation because you can go in there and you can look like what's that artist name, RAC, whatever. He got the RAC coin. He's like some Grammy Award winning artist. But you can look and see, okay, well, damn, his token started off at 20 cents and now it's at $4. This guy is going up. Oh, it's going up. I got to get in, right? On the ground floor before it goes to $10 and flips. And then that opens this whole thing up to it's almost like a gamification of it all, right? Where it's like that artist token now can become like super valuable on gambles, where it's like if an artist comes in to the game and they're new and not established, but they at least got a little buzz where people know who they are, somebody could buy their token low, like a Kalani, let's say. Like how she was on SoundCloud first and she had like a dedicated fan base, but she wasn't like big. And then she got big, she blew up. But if somebody would have bought the Kalani coin back when she was just on SoundCloud and something bubbling in, and then she's here where she is now, then you could sell that coin for a lot of money, because it's like the value of that would have increased exponentially. Even let's say Beyonce back when she was with Destiny's Child, right? Let's say you take these groups and you break each group up into their own token, each member rather, right? And you know how there's always a lead singer and it's like inevitable that the lead singer is going to leave and try to launch a solo career. And it's like more so betting on who's going to be the one to ditch the group, right? And have a successful solo career. Like, I bet on Kelly. No, I bet on Michelle. No, I bet on so-and-so. And then whoever takes off and blows up, the value of their token increases. So it's like, this thing could be kind of nuts, man, And I even think about it in the sense of, like, with all of this, because I saw something the other day where somebody tweeted where they was like, there was like a tweet could be an NFT. And I was like, that's crazy. Because you know how, like, people who gamble in Vegas be betting on anything? Like, they be betting on the presidential elections. They be betting on everything. But it got to be stuff that Vegas is taking bets on. But in the crypto space, it could be anything. You could bet on a tweet going viral. You could say, hey, I'm going to buy this tweet. And we deviating, right? We getting into the whole craziness of crypto and how wild it could get. But yeah, I just see just tremendous value and just these things that come as a product of it, and not so much just the aspect of the currencies, which is where everybody's attention right now kind of lies. And this goes back to that whole thing and the whole thing with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin got the hot hand, where all of these conversations kind of revolve around Bitcoin. And it's like the main thing really is the cryptocurrency space and all of these new developments that are happening in cryptocurrency, but the focus tends to be Bitcoin. And I just want you to speak a bit on just Bitcoin and like the value of it and whether it's something that has as much value as people try to promote that it does. Because we do have people saying, hey, Bitcoin is generational wealth. If you want black empowerment, if you want independence, if you want equity in the country, right? Like I heard one dude talking about being able to divest and into Bitcoin, divest from like the banks and put your money into Bitcoin and force the government to bow to your will that way and stuff like that. Now, listen, I got my own views on that, but you're more into the space, so I'll let you speak on it, man. You got the floor.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to unpack from that. Before I get into Bitcoin, what I do want to say is that regarding Twitter, people are tokenizing tweets right now on the blockchain.
Oh,
So, yeah, I had somebody tokenize at least 10 of my tweets last night. It was crazy. My phone kept going off. Like it, I don't know. People are doing it.
wow.
So that's happening. And also, too, regarding the speculation, like the examples you were giving about like
Crazy.
Destiny's Child and Kalani, right? The idea is that, yeah, you can speculate on these tokens, right? Kind of buy low, hopefully sell high. That whole thing exists. It's not something that I necessarily promote. I'm trying to stay as compliant, right? And not get in any trouble here, right? So I'm not telling anybody to buy anything. I'm not a financial advisor, all those disclaimers, right? But I more so believe in the utility of a token, right? Versus the speculation of it. Yeah, you could speculate if you think the artist is going to blow up and all you want to do is kind of make money off of them in the future. If that's what you want to do, sure. But like, I'm more so focused on what can we do once you have the token. What can you do with it? Like, what sort of experiences does it unlock? What can you redeem? What's the use? What's the utility? So
Yeah,
that in itself is a different conversation than the actual speculation. But they kind of go hand in hand. Also, too, about Bitcoin, right? So could it be generational wealth? I think it could have been if you got in early, like early enough. If you got it at $1 or $100 or $10, $1,000, and rode it all the way up to 51,000 or whatever it is today, sure, you would have made a lot of money depending on how much you initially put in, right? You could have changed your life, your family's life, etc.
yeah, man.
But nowadays, right, for you to double your money, I think we were speaking about this yesterday. To even double your money now in Bitcoin, you need it to go to $100,000, right? So that's kind of crazy. I'm sure it might hit $100,000, but that might be a long time. On the opposite end, you could buy something worth 5 cents, let it go to 10 cents, and now you've doubled your money, right? So there are other opportunities out in the marketplace to create this generational wealth, opposed to Bitcoin. Now, also Bitcoin gets a lot of the headlines and a lot of the attention because it was first and it kind of started this whole blockchain wave. However, it's been like 12 years into this, and personally, I think it's failed as a project, right? It initially was supposed to be peer-to-peer cash system, right? It's not a cash system today. Today, they call it digital gold because it's too expensive to operate as a cash system. It's too slow to operate as a cash system. So now they just call it a store of value. Oh, it's digital gold. It's digital gold because it failed to live up to what it was supposed to be, right? Not only that, a majority of the mining concentration, mining is what produces the new Bitcoins and secures the network. A majority of that mining is concentrated in China. So it's not as decentralized as people actually think it is. So there are a lot of problems with it actually scaling. And I'm not the biggest fan of Bitcoin. I think there are better alternatives. I think it's a dinosaur in 2021. But, to each his own. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I just saw somebody tweet something like what they say. They was like, "Oh, if you think Bitcoin is a bad bet at 50,000, you're gonna be mad at yourself when it goes to 250,000." And I'm like, Well, by that measure, you could invest in something at $10, and if it goes to 50, right, or if it goes to 80 or 100, you don't need something to go to $250,000 to get a flip, So it's like this is kind of like crazy talk to a great extent, man. And then I look at it also from the other angle of from the generational wealth thing. It's like, and again, we had this conversation earlier where we say, yo, you can't lose generational wealth with the loss of a password. If you lose your password, if you lose your USB drive, or whatever, like that's not generational wealth. If I could just like break into your house, take your laptop, you're poor again. You know what I'm saying? You're poor again. There goes your whole fortune. So it's like, you got to move into creation and creating things, like the people who made the shoelace and the people who made, the hospital gowns, right? And these are the things that people overlook, these things that you use every day in your day to day, People are caking off of stuff like providing mattresses to the prisons, right? Which is like big money, man, But yeah, man, that's where it kind of is. But yeah, with this whole space, man, and artists, man. Now, what do you say to artists that look at this space and they say, well, ain't nobody gonna buy that, man. Ain't nobody gonna buy no NFT. I ain't moving into that space. Like, that ain't worth my time to go and create that. Who buys that stuff? That's just a waste. I make one, people ain't going like do you say, hey, whatever to you, or do you have any words where it's like, brother, you got it wrong? This is a space where you can kind of like make something happen.
Yeah, I would say they got it wrong. I would tell them to be a little more optimistic, right? What's so exciting about this space is the opportunity. Because we're so early, you have an opportunity to get in early and create a name for yourself, to learn this, to get to a point where you can find some success, where you can teach others, and hopefully they'll get some success, because it is so early and you learn along the way and you grow with the space, right? That's like saying you don't think anybody's going to listen to your podcast. Everybody has a podcast, or nobody's going to watch your video if you upload it on YouTube, or watch your Instagram video. Everybody's doing that. They weren't doing it necessarily in the beginning. It took some time, right? But eventually everybody caught up to it. I would just tell them, be a little more optimistic, take the time to learn it, get in early, so that once everybody does catch up, you already got a foundation, you solid, you know what you're doing, and hopefully you're being successful at it.
Ah, man, great words, brother. Great words, man. So I thank you for your time, man. I thank you for your perseverance as well, right?
No
Rocking
doubt.
with me, man. Yeah, man. So y'all got to check the brother out, man. Denki.art. He has a project out, man. Brave New World. Connie Digital, man. He also has his own token too, right? Called Hue. You can get it, right? That's when you basically you reward people for that, right? They got to buy stuff or do stuff, So if you want to,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Sign up to my newsletter. People can get it that way. Just subscribe to the news.
So subscribe to the newsletter, man. Hit him up, Connie Digital, on Twitter, man. And you can find out how to contact the brother, how to get involved with the things that he got going on. But much appreciation, man. Thank you for your time, man. Again, your knowledge and everything, man. I look forward to leaning on you and having you back on to kind of like review some platforms sometime, man, where we take a look at some of these things and be like, hey, man, what are your thoughts on this, man? Where it ain't just me kind of like breaking down this stuff. Because, I will be really like interested in your opinion on some of the things that I be seeing, man. Word.
No doubt. That sounds like a good time, man. I would enjoy that. So yeah, man, I thank you for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to connecting again, man.
All right, man. Definitely, man. Peace.
Peace, bro.